So today at 4 o'clock, there is a new UFO congressional hearing. I don't use the word UAP. I think that's a more governmental term that has been used to push the way of the word UFO because it's been stigmatized for the past 80 years. So we changed it to UAP, and now there's another acronym. It's going to be something else and something else. So I like to use UFO. Let's put the stigma of the word UFO and let's make it more positive. Let's put it to the true subject for what it actually deserves, which is unidentified flying objects, because technically that's what it is. So at 4 o'clock today, we have a new, like I said, congressional hearing, which is probably, and this is just my overall predictions. I keep on hearing the word catastrophic disclosure. I don't think that's going to happen. I think we need like a world-changing event, like a Project Bluebeam, which I don't think is going to happen. We're going for like a 2012 effect at the moment. So going back to the congressional hearings, I think it's going to be another nothing burger, because what we've learned through the past year, it was last year when the first one happened, when David Grush came forward, and you look between then and to what it is now, nothing's really happened. Okay, there might be a slow drip disclosure. It's not, like I said, it's not going to be a catastrophic disclosure. I think it's going to be a small drip. But at the same time, I'm still waiting for the JFK files to be released. But yet, I'm going to be told that these high-ranking governmental officials or military officials stating that they've seen, this is what I'm guessing, seen unidentified flying objects in the sky, possible alien ET involvement as well, in the terms of actually seeing them as like entities or stuff like that. But is it going to give this the true seriousness that it deserves? And I would have to admit, this is a pretty big deal when you look at it. I know I'm sort of poo-pooing the idea that talking about UFOs in Congress is a bit of like a laughing matter, but at the same time, it's quite something quite serious when you look at it, because we don't really have anything like that. Talking about aliens, non-biological entities, as one will call them. I think Grosh said that. And that's quite a big deal, I have to admit. Is finally the stigma of UFOs is actually being taken seriously. But when it comes to aliens, that's a whole different matter, isn't it? So one will see. We'll see what's going to happen at 4 o'clock today. I mean, in the past 5 months, I haven't heard anything from Grosh. He hasn't come forward with any evidence of these so-called 40 whistleblowers. Where are these alien technology being held? I thought he was going to expose all that. But what I've been saying, and various people in the UFO community have been saying, that the community itself has been infiltrated by the intelligence agency, clearly. And we're having people being inserted into this community to push people in different directions. Again, Lou Elizondo is a prime example of that. I mean, it depends on what your thoughts on him. I don't really care, to be honest with you. But you can see there's been some sort of infiltration. And what I found is that you have these people insert themselves into the community, or some sort of agency put these people into these into the UFO community, and has split people off into different categories. I mean, look at ufology at the moment. It is just a fucking shit show. Everyone's arguing with each other, debunkers and the people that believe that the phenomena is real. And they're just fighting with each other. It's like, no, I'm right. And the other side would go, no, I'm right. And it's just like a massive shit show. And obviously that's done on purpose. But I think social media had a big play on that. And just a part of having a Twitter page, especially with large followers, you find out that the narcissism can actually take over, because you're starting to get people that comment saying, yeah, keep going. You're on the right track. And then it just solidifies your bullshit. Just saying. Where's Bob Lazar? Do you think he's going to make an appearance? Well, we know George Knapp and Jamie Corbell are going to be there, right at the back. I guarantee it. Yeah, to see them. Their heads poking out like that. Oh, need my attention, please. And the military whistleblowers that are going to be coming forward and giving their testimony. Guys, we've been hearing military testimony since World War II, when we were seeing Foo Fighters in the sky. I mean, what's going on here? We've had military officials stating that they've seen extraterrestrial craft or some sort of craft in the sky for the past 80 years. So I hope the officials, the military officials coming forward, are actually going to give some sort of some sort of evidence, because again, this is just going to be a nothing burger. Oh yeah, but we have testimony from military high-ranking government officials. Sure, but what about the disclosure project? We've had bloody 2 of them. Where's the evidence? This is it now for me. Now, being into the UFO community or ufology for a long time, I mean, I got all my books from back in the 90s on UFO magazines, and everything they're saying back then is the same what's happening now. For me, it's just like a nothing burger. I really hope something comes out of this, some sort of a slow drip to disclosure. But in all honesty, I just can't really see it. I might be wrong. If you do want to watch live, I'm going to upload this before the hearings come out. Go check out Terrestrial Materials. I'll put a link in the description. He's going to be doing a whole live stream on the actual live event itself. So who knows, man? I mean, I love disclosure to happen. But again, we've got one part of disclosure is that you're going to find out what the military actually has. The military are not going to tell you what they have in terms of technology. They're not. But I do believe there is some sort of advanced technology. Yes, I say anti-gravity. Yes, I'm going there. I believe they have it all. I think they've had it for many, many decades. I'm not saying that the Germans perfected that, because you know my whole thoughts on that. But I think there's some sort of perfection that's happened over the past decade. I think from the 1950s, where they were actually studying anti-gravity. I mean, if you want more information on that, go check out Nick Cook's book. Hold on, I've got it here. I can see it poking out. Nick Cook's book, Hunt for Zero Point. So Nick Cook is an aviation journalist who looked into anti-gravity and the Bell Project. But go buy this book. It's brilliant. It's called Hunt for Zero Point by Nick Cook, and that goes into more or less like military technology that's been going on. But the book states that in the 1950s there were programs going on to achieve gravity, and I think they have perfected that. But is that information going to come forward in today's congressional hearings? Who knows? Who flipping knows? It's exciting times, but again, ufology is just, you get a massive hype and you get bashed down to the ground. A massive hype and then bashed right down to the ground. It's like we're going through a cycle here. We're going through a cycle, and you think ufology at the moment, nothing's really been going on. So now we've got this hearing coming out. Everyone's getting massive boners over it. Now, speaking of boners, here's Anna Luna Paluna talking about the UFO or UAP hearings. No, it's UFO hearings, and she is stunningly hot. You probably do OnlyFans.
We actually have a hearing tomorrow on UAPs. I know specifically in regards to if Rubio is the Secretary of State. He's actually we actually have a hearing tomorrow on UAPs. I know specifically in regards to if Rubio is the Secretary of State. He's actually been a huge advocate in declassification of that. But I think that if you look at the world, if you look at the galaxies in just a bigger picture, I don't see how there's not life on other planets. You know, I'll just leave it at that. But you guys have to tune into the hearing tomorrow. It's going to be pretty awesome.
So here we have it from Luna herself, who should probably just stick to being modeling. Let's just be honest with you guys. So if it don't work out, Luna, you know where to go. It's called OnlyFans. Moving on to Tim Gallagher. I believe that's how you say his name. And then we have right here Ross Coulthard. But I'm going to be honest, it's got a face that I kind of want to smack.
Let's not disclose the classified information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public has a right to know the new nature of reality we know, and that the Defense Department and the intelligence community has realized and has evidence of. That's not fair to the American public or the global citizenry at large. So I think this is what has to come out. Let's not disclose the classified.
I mean, Tim makes a good point. You know, we shouldn't ignore the classified documents, and especially military technology that has been hidden from the American public. But at the same time, do you really want your enemies to know what technology the Americans actually have? Because that is exposing quite a bloody big deal when it comes to technology that can outdo atomic bombs. Okay, we're not talking about, you know, little bombs here. We're talking about advanced technology that can potentially, I'm just saying, like destroy the planet. But you really don't know what this so-called alien technology can actually do, or has the military got something that is a bit like what we would consider as alien technology?
Information technology-wise that we're learning about UAP. I'm okay with that. We don't want that to go to the American public or our adversaries. But the American public has a right to know the new nature of reality we know, and that the Defense Department and the intelligence community has realized and has evidence of. That's not fair.
Again, the intelligence agency.
And that the Defense Department and the intelligence community has realized and has evidence of. That's not fair to the American public.
So Tim's just said right here, the intelligence agency and the Defense Department actually have evidence that they're hiding from the public in terms of alien technology. I don't think they're going to release it to the public. I really don't. I mean, like I said, the JFK files, why haven't they released that? I know Donald Trump said he's going to do that as soon as he gets into office, and I hope he sticks to his bloody word. But again, even Donald Trump said, President Donald Trump actually said, there's still people alive today that may get implemented, which obviously we're talking about people that worked into the CIA, the intelligence agency. So why are they going to release this so-called classified technology to the public? You know what I mean? It's just, I keep on hearing that over and over again. It's just not going to happen. Again, we're talking about a slow drip disclosure, not a catastrophic disclosure. So there we go. That's Tim Gallagher. I think that's how you say his name in terms of what information the intelligence agency and Defense Department actually have. And are they going to release it? Who knows? Oh, here's another nice little a gif from Rep. Nancy Mace, who is another hot woman. So again, this is what we need. We need more hot women in ufology. MILFs for ufology. And I mean that. MILFs for ufology. Here's a woman with massive set tits. I don't know why I put that on screen. I don't know. So who knows what's going to happen at 4 o'clock today? I'm really interested to see what's going to happen. Are we going to get a push for this slow drip disclosure? I certainly do. And I do believe that the public deserved to know the truth. But at the same time, we are dealing with the public who are attracted to social media and TikTok. I mean, to be honest with you, UFO community is only a small part. The people that really want disclosure, like me and you, are only a small community. But the vast majority of people, I'm going to say this, but they're a bit fundamentally retarded, and they just don't care. They really don't care about UFOs. I mean, the normies I speak to, they really don't care. They want to know what's going on TikTok. They got the distractions going on. So again, people just don't really care about disclosure. Again, people are just distracted. We're distracted by technology, gadgets, and gizmos. So is this new congressional hearings going to give us any slow drip to disclosure? I certainly do, but I do think it's going to be more hearsay and trust me, bros. And that's my thought on that one. Hopefully I'm wrong. Now, moving on from congressional hearings, I've seen this. It's a fucking fact check underneath it. Okay, so I see this a lot from Concerned Citizen on X. I say Twitter because it's just, that is the name of mine. But yeah, Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Put this video up called Short Educational Lesson on HAARP. Check this out. And this is a question I've always asked myself about HAARP. How do we know that HAARP clouds actually look like this? I mean, how do you know that it turns like this? This is just computer generated. And look at this. That there, I am telling you now. Can I put this bigger? Hold on. There we go. That is obviously enhanced. I can tell you now that doesn't move like that, because I've seen many videos, especially my time-lapse video of this so-called HAARP cloud, which is technically billow cloud, and you can track these clouds back through decades, all the way back to World War II. So this is a short educational video on what HAARP clouds actually look like. There's no information, no evidence. We're just going by what this is, which is just computer generated. Oh, I have to admit, that's pretty weird. Could be shadows casting. This, again, this is nothing to do with HAARP clouds. This is what is called billow clouds. That's called altocumulus clouds. And that's a new phenomenon. This is called according to the mainstream media, a streak fall, which is to do with aircraft going through the cloud layer. So it's, imagine the cloud layer here, the plane's going in and it's actually dropping down. And this is where you get this so-called circular effect that comes out of the cloud. It's basically like a puncture hole. But I have not seen that in any of my vintage books. I've got over 20 books on cloud formations and obviously with trails in the sky, but I don't really see this at all. So this is a relatively new phenomenon. But again, is the reason why I've put this on here, because I think people are really getting confused of what they're actually seeing in the sky. I've been putting out a few geoengineering videos on my Rumble channel and YouTube channel. And this is really detailing the skies and what these so-called chemtrails actually do. Do they block out the sun? How persistent are these trails? Obviously, the persistent trails throughout the day. And does it make any impact to surface to ground temperature? So in one aspect, I learned that side of geoengineering, but I wanted to learn how cloud formations formed. I want to know how clouds are formed. I want to know what I'm seeing in the sky in terms of what's been manipulated, the so-called artificial clouds. Can we trace them back years ago? And this is the reason why I bought like a bunch of books on cloud formations. And I started to learn quite quickly what the chemtrail community has been putting forward can actually be traced back decades ago. But the chemtrail community would say, oh no, all these clouds have been manipulated on purpose. This is unnatural cloud. And they can't really give me any evidence to back up what they're saying. But I got all my vintage books from all the way back from World War II that showing exactly the same clouds we're seeing in the sky today. So what's the difference between the clouds back then to what it is now? Again, there is a bunch of trails that are in these books. So what's the difference between the trails we're seeing now to the trails back years ago? Do you know what I mean? So I started to understand how clouds are formed. And yes, I have to admit, it's the same science that it is today. One aspect of what the chemtrail community is saying is that a persistent trail in the sky is a chemtrail, and a trail that actually dissipates within a few seconds is a contrail. And that is simply not true. Unfortunately, I'm going to say this, but condensation trails do persist if you've got relatively humidity in there. And you can clearly see that with the aircraft. But looking at the aircraft, and you can see that almost like a spray nozzle going on and off and on and off. But if you go back to this chemtrail video that I made not long ago, and you can see from this World War II footage of these B-2 bombers, they're actually producing these trails in the sky. And it looks like it's being turned on and off, according to Dane Wingington from geoengineeringwatch.com. But if you go back to the original documentary, it's stating that these are condensation trails. Again, the chemtrail community don't really produce any sort of evidence. They just show videos and documentaries which I'm a bit skeptical about, especially the dimming. But now we're starting to get solar radiation management and geoengineering being put forward, and that's immediately been associated with chemtrails. But back in the day, chemtrails and geoengineering wasn't really a hot topic. I mean, this was going back 2007 and 8 when I started to get into it. It was just about to shows the crumbs into the community, the truth community. There's nothing truth about it at all. When people say truth community, there's nothing truth about it. Trust me on that one. It's a very very skeptical the so-called truth movement is putting out. Again, Operation Mockingbird, people being inserted from the intelligence agency to push people in different directions. You're doing this, but actually you're doing that at the same time. So that works both ways in mainstream media and the truth movement as well. Operation Mockingbird is a very ongoing thing. But anyway, back to what information people are coming across. So my personal opinion, I think the people on the Chemtrail Facebook page or on any chemtrail forums, and they're seeing pictures and videos being posted online by the public stating that these clouds are artificial made and these trails are been done on purpose. Well, why has it been done on purpose? Why is it been manipulated? I mean, here's a typical example. The video I put out the other day, the skies were completely covered in this white blanket, this big, thick white blanket. Here's a typical example. For the past 2 to 3 weeks, the skies have been looking like this. It's been completely covered in this so-called artificial white cloud. Not talking about white mist to block out the sun. We're talking about this thick white cloud, this big depression that lingered over England for 2 weeks. Well, around about 3 weeks. And we never saw the sun. And people like this guy here noticed it. The sun was completely blocked out. And then yesterday, the clouds cleared and you see a few trails. And then people on the Chemtrail Facebook page going, oh no, they're blocking out the sun now. It's going, well, hold on a minute. You just out of what was those the past 2 weeks? so-called being engineered, this white cloud so-called being engineered on purpose, that really did affect the sun. And then when that cleared, you see a couple of trails and you say, oh no, they're blocking out the sun now. It's like, well, hold on a minute. So what was that 3 weeks about of blocking out the sun with this artificial cloud you've been claiming that has been done? So I find the information now, what people are coming across, especially the people who are new to the chemtrail community, they think they know what's going on. But if you ask the chemtrail believer how a cloud is formed, they won't be able to tell you. But they're telling me all these clouds have been artificially made. I fucking can't do it. Oh my God, my flipping brain. Oh God. So let's just listen to this guy. I'm sure people in the chemtrail community are nice. Yeah, right.
Of actually being able to see the sun. Day number 2 here at the farm of actually being able to see the sun. You've got a semi-clear sky, still shitloads of.
So this was taken yesterday, and yesterday you just saw the sun come out. There was periods where it was actually blue sky. It was actually quite nice to see the sun. So this guy noticed that the sky was completely blocked out for 3 weeks. Again, I know it's autumn and you will get grey skies, but for that prolonged period of time, a conspiracy hat going on.
Chemtrails and artificial looking clouds up there, but for the last 2 weeks.
Again, artificial looking clouds. This is what the community is now saying. And say, oh no, this is all artificially done on purpose. It's like, yeah, but okay, how is it done on purpose? Can we not track this grey sky back from years ago? Because I got a video footage from 2008, around about the same time period, and it's flipping grey sky. You know, because it's the autumn. It's just, unfortunately, that's what happens.
We have literally not seen the sun here. I mean, to the point where you look up in the sky and you can't actually tell where the sun is.
True.
Our solar system has been barely registering sunlight on the 15 panels that we've got. Now, I'm sure you get natural weather patterns that include, you know, a bit of greyness and even sometimes a complete grey out like we've had, but there's just something about it that feels completely artificial. And I'm sure I'm preaching to the choir here anyway. But also, very interestingly, I noticed that when we have those complete grey outs, the weather, there's an artificial temperature increase. I noticed this all through last, I say winter in inverted commas because we didn't really have a winter here. We had monsoon season rather than winter, but the whole time it felt artificially warm. And it's been the same here for the last 2 weeks, like not what you'd expect for autumn at all. And then yesterday, the first time we actually saw the sun, it was still a little bit cloudy, but we actually had the sun come out. You felt the weather change back to a more natural feeling, like the oppressive atmosphere disappeared with it. And the temperature immediately went to what you'd expect for autumn. And this morning, semi-clear sky. Yeah, we had a cold night last night, 4 degrees. We've had temperatures in the double digits, like 14, 15, 16, 17 degrees in the evening. Completely unnatural feeling. And I find this most interesting because of the mainstream narrative around.
I'm going to pause it there because there's something I need to talk about in terms of spraying chemtrails to block out the sun. Okay, is to reflect the sunlight back into space. Okay, when you've got those big blankets in the sky, you know, when it's absolutely filled with trails, and there are days when it is like that. It's not long enough to actually, you know, stop temperature, but it's those certain days, yes, you can see it blankets the sun. Right, think about this, okay? And this is what the chemtrail community are not really thinking of. Okay, hot day, for instance, the summer day, in the morning, it's reaching up to around about 15 degrees. So it's quite nice t-shirt weather. As soon as the trails are starting to be sprayed, okay, it's going to blanket the sky out in this white mass. It's going to reflect the sunlight back into space, but it's also going to trap the heat in to surface to ground temperature. Just think about this. If it's going to reflect the sunlight back into space, it's going to trap the heat in. And this is what I don't think people don't understand. Now, if we apply that to what this guy is saying, the white blanket in the sky, you need to think, what's that going to do? It's going to trap the heat in. So, of course, the temperature isn't going to feel like autumn. It's only when the skies are clear, you can feel the real effect of the autumn, isn't it? You know, especially on a frosty day, we get frost when it's a clear sky. When it's clouded over, we don't get the temperature actually rises slightly. And that's just a normal scientific thing, you know. So really what this guy is saying is that this artificial cloud, supposed artificial cloud, is actually making the temperatures warmer. But if the cloud was natural, it would do that anyway, because it's literally trapping heat in. You need to understand like how radiation works. You know, that's still a heat source that comes from the earth. And again, that can trap the heat in. And being a gardener, I would know that because I look up in the sky and I know when frost is going to happen. I know when a frost is coming because you've got clear sky. And when you've got clouds coming over, you think, okay, well, it's actually going to be quite protected because it's actually trapping the heat in. So, of course, the temperatures are going to feel warmer than normal. Again, it's just, you need to think about that. But people who are new to the chemtrail community say, no, that's been done on purpose. I'm thinking, but who's doing this though? What is the purpose of actually blocking out the sun? I just find what information people are coming across. I just think people need to have a proper analysis on what they're actually looking into. It's just not me debunking things. I look at both sides of the story. I want to understand how weather works and how clouds are formed and what clouds can have an effect on surface to ground temperature, and it does. This is just a small segment I just wanted to talk about to say, look, I understand, yes, chemtrails is a real phenomenon, yes, geoengineering is a real program, but again, I think people are getting confused of what information they're coming across. I know people don't understand science. I understand that, guys, trust me. I have to look at both avenues and make a rational decision, and that's what I've done, and say, as a farmer, he should know that about this cloud making the temperatures warmer, because that's what it would do naturally anyway. Just saying. It's just, don't be afraid to look into the other side as well. Yes, sometimes I have to delve into what the BBC says. I know they're full of shit because I've educated myself to the best that I can to understand the weather and understand how clouds are formed and what the clouds and the weather can affect on the planet. I'm not saying that this guy is uneducated. I'm just saying that the people in the chemtrail community don't really look down both avenues. They just tend to stick down an echo chamber, unfortunately. But no, fair play to this guy for being a farmer, because that's going to be very, very tough, especially in the years to come. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is a short video I wanted to put out in regards of UAP here. UFO Congressional hearings that will be happening at 4 o'clock today. And I'll do a follow-up on what's the results of so-called evidence. And let's hope they bring out an alien or Bob Lazar in his 115. So there we go, guys. I hope you have a good day in this crazy world of 2024. And much love and respect. And I shall see you very soon.